Cirque du Soleil.
Cirque du Soleil.
It has been called daring,
Mesmerizing.
spellbinding. And now comes their newest show. It is called
La Nuba.
To See It is to know the color of imagination. For tickets to an experience you'll talk about forever, call 407-WDW-7600 now.
La Nuba.
Once upon a time, under the cobwebs in an old abandoned attic, amid the trunks full of long-forgotten memories, and the toys still resonating with the cheerful sounds of childhood, there live weird and wonderful creatures. They all long to spring to life and pick up the stories where they left off so long ago. Stories as real as the feelings you feel. And once this strange yet familiar world awakens, anything can happen. All you need to do is open the door. It took almost 10 years of negotiation and fulfillment on the part of Disney to include Cirque du Soleil in its roster. However, Disney wasn't the only entertainment company interested in Cirque. Back in the early days, once Le Cirque Reinventé became a hit out in Santa Monica, it quickly became the talk of Hollywood. Guy was courted by Columbia Pictures to make a movie deal about Cirque and its characters. Don Still, Columbia's president at the time, threw a party to announce the deal. Guy said,
We took the appropriate time, I think, to make our decision, because at the beginning, what happened is everybody presented themselves as the savior of your future.
Disney's Michael Eisner remembers that negotiations were long and complex because Cirque insisted on retaining creative independence. His solution was to let them have it.
And boy, were they right.
I've been dealing with the movie business for a long time, says Eisner, and when you have a Spielberg or a George Lucas or others of that level, you let them have creative control. With Cirque, you create a financial box and you let them do it. And after years and years of negotiations, on July 12th, 1996, Cirque announced that it had reached a long-term agreement with the Walt Disney Company for a new circus-style theatric show, which would be included at the Walt Disney World Resort in Orlando, Florida. In January 1997, at one of the first creation production meetings, it was said, the show takes place in the attic, crammed with souvenirs from a much-traveled man. In his trunks, he has characters from around the world. A bit later, they dropped the attic notion and replaced it with the idea of a castle. But then they never really talked much about the castle either. The first time Franco stepped into the theater, he got the impression of being in an attic. What struck him was the intimate feeling of the space, having both the attic and more urban and metal sides. There were a lot of steps involved in researching the concept. First of these focused on the world of tales. What is a tale? Are there universal characters? How can you create a tale in Disney World? And so on. In the fall of 1997, Cirque felt it was time to shake things up and go beyond the notions of wonder, as in if a tale can only mean a fairy tale. When working on O, more meetings were held and the concept became clear. Urban Romantic Circus. A first name was proposed for the show, Rom-Dom, which means making a racket or kicking up a fuss.
We work with the artist almost a year in Montreal in studio to prepare them and to develop as much material as possible.
Amid all this, the creation period got underway. First, there were workshops with Franco, and then in mid-October, the full team began arriving.
You had all the crew support you and be happy. They were happy because kids.
This period extended until the first public premiere and resumed a few days before the media premiere. From Rom-Dom to La Nuba, it took them a while to grasp it, feel it, and even longer to talk about it. In its rhythm, in its narrative structure, and the universe it depicts, the show draws on the world of tale and legend. A brand new production with an international cast of 67 performers will take to the stage the magic of Cirque du Soleil. The director. Franco Dragone, born 1952 in a small town in southern Italy. At an early age, he moved to Belgium with his family so his parents could work in the coal mines. In the 1970s, he studied theater at the Belgian Royal Conservatory of Mons. Starting his career as an actor, he switched to activist theater, or theater without actors, according to Dragon. In the 1980s, he went to Montreal, Quebec, Canada, where he created, directed, and produced a show that Guy saw the same year he formed Cirque du Soleil. 1985, Guy sought out Dragon to join as a creator. In the early 1990s, his reputation grew with the productions of Nouvelle Experience and Saltimbanco, non-traditional circus productions in which postmodern dance, music, and circus acrobats were interlaced along with a dreamlike narrative. December 25, 1993, the groundbreaking production of Mystère opened at Treasure Island in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, forever changing the landscape of entertainment on the Strip. In 1994, he created Alegria, a critical and financial smash hit, and again in 1996 with one of the company's darkest dreams yet, Quidam. From 1985 to 1998, he would direct nearly all of the most prestigious shows and played a significant role in developing Cirque's distinctive merging of circus and theater. 1998 would prove to be his most ambitious, as he would work on 2 shows simultaneously and would direct only one other Cirque production in Las Vegas with the aquatic spectacle O, which premiered in October. Sadly, his last show collaboration with Cirque would also be the company's first permanent residency outside of Las Vegas, opening just 2 short months later in Orlando, Florida on December 23rd. In interviews, Dragon said opening 2 major productions back-to-back completely exhausted him.
La Nouba means to make a party, to do a party, to have fun. The character that I showed, they all has to have a kind of fragility. This is very important. If the character has no fragility, he is not a good character. People doesn't like him.
Benoit is a Canadian composer best known for his work with Cirque du Soleil, first as a musical director and later as a composer for several of the company's shows. Fascination, Quidam, and O. In a funny way, O was a really easy show for me to do, and this one was extremely difficult, says Benoit. The main reason was that Guy wanted more of a modern soundtrack, and Franco doesn't really do modern. He hated electronic music at the time, so it was really hard to find music that would please both. Outside of Cirque, he wrote the music for 17 episodes of the American TV series The Hunger from 1997 to 1998, produced by Ridley and Tony Scott.
I was band leader for a long time for the Cirque, and often I wanted to kill myself after 500 times playing the same show.
The Lake Buena Vista Shopping Village, which opened on March 22, 1975, originally envisioned as a shopping mall. 2 years after its opening, the complex was renamed Walt Disney World Village, with the advent of new management under Michael Eisner in 1984.
Hello? Hello again.
Disney began looking for ways to keep vacationers on Walt Disney World's property longer and prevent them from leaving for entertainment beyond Disney's borders. To compete with the popular Church Street Station clubs in downtown Orlando, Disney announced the addition of Pleasure Island, featuring nightclubs showcasing Disney's quality and creativity on July 21st, 1986. Construction began the following August, and Pleasure Island was open on May 1st, 1989.
Pleasure Island is unlike any other island you've ever visited. This is an oasis of 7 nightclubs, restaurants, and stores. Welcome to clubbing Disney style.
Later that year, the complex was renamed Disney Village Marketplace. In the mid-90s, the growth of Walt Disney World created the potential for further expansion, leading to a $1 billion investment in projects across the resort. On June 20th, 1995, major enhancements and expansions were announced for the area, with the Disney Village Marketplace and Pleasure Island being combined into a newly branded district named Downtown Disney. The rebranding was introduced on September 7th, 1997. In addition to the expansion, an upgrade to the AMC Theater as well as opening Rainforest Cafe and Planet Hollywood. On September 15th, downtown Disney West Side opened as a third shopping, dining, and entertainment area featuring Disney Quest, Virgin Megastore, the House of Blues, and the world's first and only freestanding tent. Well, sorta. The beautiful theater was constructed especially for Cirque and is the first permanent freestanding structure built for the company. Designed by Michael Crete and Walt Disney Imagineering, the overall structure was created as a form of elegance with the addition of fabric and tension reminiscent of the Grand Chapiteau. Outside, it resembles an enormous ivory circus tent or castle. Inside, an elaborate mechanical stage including movable glass cages with world-class sound and lighting systems that create a dreamlike transformation between acts. The theater's immersive height, ground level to top of the mast, is 152 feet and allows the scenic and acrobatic equipment to be stored in the ceiling. The trapeze net is installed mechanically with no visible stage hands as it is lowered into place from the ceiling. The stage floor itself has 5 elevator lifts, each with a 3,000-pound load capacity. These lifts can rise to a maximum height of 16 feet. The center lift, in addition to elevating, can also descend 16 feet below the stage on a second axis. Another stage element includes 4 retractable power track floors in the stage. The trampoline bed is tighter and uses second generation of spring, allowing the performers to jump higher and faster down the track, which measures 60 feet in length. As a Cirque first, the trampolines are longer, wider, and woven together with 2 tracks. The 6 musicians are located upon 2 platforms housed in the 75-foot towers, raising on either side of the stage. These platforms contain an external elevator which performers rise and lower from during the show, separate but not disconnected from the performance by staying connected via a complex audio system that allows each musician to speak with the band leader, their other bandmates, and take direction if something were to happen. Notable props: the fabulous figures are the Fabulouses. These ghostly forms watch from above our heads. A fountain, trees, grass, a train, flowers, a street lamp, a car, a bench, bicycles, table, chairs, windows, doors, and stairs. These props are highly important narrative elements. The impressive theater seats a total of 1,671. In the show, there are 2 main character categories: the Cirques or circus people, sporting bright fluorescent colors, and the Urbans or urbanites, who wear dark muted colors or monochromatic costumes. The design of the costumes for the Diablo act are fashioned out of rope applique. The nuns are dressed head to toe in white, symbolizing naivety and innocence. The costumes of this wacky quartet are made of silk and decorated with beads. You'll even find the @ and other typographical symbols associated with computer technology were integrated into some of the costumes. As in every Cirque show, in addition to the performances, there were several distinctive characters that participated in the show, sometimes as performers and sometimes as spectators. Virginia, the cleaning lady. All Virginia intended to do in the first place was a little housekeeping, but when she shut the door of the attic behind her, she somehow triggered a series of events that opened up a world of possibilities beyond imagination. She stirred back to life a bunch of characters straight out of a storybook, all yearning to retell the tales to which they belong. Shocked to be in this world and astounded by what goes on around her, she sweeps and dusts nonetheless until her dreams become reality. The Green Bird. This bird of happiness has escaped her cage to accompany Virginia and watch over her. Out of her cage, this bird wants to fly, but her wings won't work. Unable to catch up with the Cirques, way too clumsy and awkward, she remains trapped in an urban world, like a marionette in its tangled strings. A bit like a dislocated puppet. The Pierrot Acrobat. Agile and nimble, he appears as a red acrobat and is the adversary of the Titan until he joins him in mutual admiration. He is part of the Red Pierrot family, themselves part of a larger group of individuals known as Les Cirques. He appears up on the mountains, on the wall, at the end of the world, on the rocks, at the heart of the action.
And this I bring the audience with me, you know. When I go out, I salute them, like, thank you.
The Titan, the show's resident strongman, who confronts everyone on stage. This grouchy, pugnacious rascal will most certainly give you the jitters. He is a fearless giant who marches ominously among humans, although he doesn't have an inkling of what's going on. It's all a big mystery to him. Who is this guy anyway? A muscle man? The boogeyman? Who knows? Watching the world from above and scratching his head at the same time. The Walker. Dressed in gray pinstripe with a small bowler hat, he sees the world through happiness. But what's going on inside of the head of this Chaplin-esque solitary walker? Back and forth he goes, a battered soul with tattered souls, never stopping except at very specific moments for reasons known to him alone. Try walking a mile in this guy's shoes. Liama, a princess in this world who sings her joy and passion. The Peacock Singer. An ambiguous character, dangerous and provocative at the same time. He lives in height, perched at the top of the mountains on the wall at the end of the world, where he sings the tale of all he sees from the sky, like a bird. The Clowns. Balthazar and Sergei provide comic relief in a world of comedy. The Nuts. Once upon a time, there were 4 nuts that nobody could see, but they could see everything. The nuts are the ones things happen to, the ones who make things appear. They welcome people as they arrive. They link the world of circus and city. The mocking spirits of this place, they laugh at Virginia's fear. They aren't evil, just mischievous, like elves, gnomes, and other forest dwellers. They are invisible to almost everyone except for Virginia, and possibly the Green Bird, Titan, and Walker. These 4 may be nuts, but crazy they are not. As they frolic to and fro, they have only one thing on their mind: spreading chaos, mayhem, and running amok, and minding everyone's business but their own. They live inside the cracks in the street and between the lines of the story. They trigger contact between the 2 worlds. They also connect street people who don't see each other. For instance, they lead the female and male ballerinas to each other. He's the Pierrot clown, she's the lost ballerina. Their story remains to be written. But with all great lovers, love here is star-crossed, impossible, and unrealized. For example, in their first meeting, the stage is inspired for the whole game of yes and no. I draw you near, you push me away. The joys of meeting someone new, the fears of meeting someone new. She tries to remove his mask. He gets scared and runs away. He comes back. She says yes. She refuses. He runs away. She runs after him. He's at a loss, and so is she. Who said love was supposed to be easy? They dance and share their love, passion, and fears on stage. Their emotions are exhibited through graceful yet haunting movement. The Cut Character. Who is this mysterious storyteller, and where has he gone? If you or anyone you know has seen this missing character or have any information on his whereabouts, please contact your local authorities.
Walt Disney World is alive with performers of all kinds. And soon to be joining them will be the world-famous Cirque du Soleil.
A whole new Cirque du Soleil spectacular called La Nuba.
La Nuba!
La Nuba is making its home here at Walt Disney World.
La Nuba!
It's unlike any Cirque you've ever seen. We got to catch a sneak peek.
La Nuba! I love saying
that.
Do
you? I hadn't noticed.
I do.
It's French and it means to party or live it up.
La Nuba!